What's going on, guys? Josh from SoccerReviewsForYou.com bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the brand new Nike Premier 2.0. Now, when the original Nike Premier came out, I was very impressed with it. Pretty much from its initial release, it remained one of the best values you could get in a leather soccer shoe especially, and it's also one of the best leather boots you could buy from when it first came out up until now. The original Nike Premier is still excellent. We now have the Premier 2.0, which is what I'm holding right here in my hands, which admittedly is a very similar design. The sole plate and stud pattern, almost identical. The internals of the shoe, almost identical as well. And the upper, for the most part, hasn't changed that much either. Visually, it's a little bit different with the added tongue, as you can see, but we'll go over all the differences and details of this shoe in today's video, as well as take a look at how they fit and feel on feet. So if you're curious as to whether or not the Nike Premier 2.0 is just as good or better than the original, that's what we're gonna discuss. Stick around for that. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen, or you can click the first link down below in the description. That'll take you to the review page on my website, where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes, where you'll be able to pick these up for the still very good bargain price of $110 US. But with the coupon codes, you can get them for a little bit less than that. But the retail price remains the same as the original Nike Premier, which I think is very important, because at $110, and you can get them pretty easily at about 90 bucks, it's still an excellent value. And when a shoe like this exists, I don't see much reason to buy a takedown model. Anyways, if you're interested, little pop-up on screen, first link down below, check it out. So, Nike Premier 2.0. It's a kangaroo leather upper. The majority of the upper is kangaroo leather, and the quality is still pretty well the same as the original Nike Premier. I think the original Nike Premier feels a little bit better in terms of overall quality, but the difference is so minimal that when they're actually on your feet, it's really difficult to say there's any difference at all, especially once they are broken in. So for the most part, the leather quality, being that it is kangaroo leather at $110 retail price, is still as good as just about anything. So still an excellent value, still gonna offer that premium, very natural, I guess traditional touch on the ball. It is on the thinner side in terms of the kangaroo leather, so it's not gonna feel as bulky or as heavily padded as something like a Copa Mundial. And again, it's just a nice, soft, consistent touch, being that the entire upper is made from kangaroo leather, which is really nice. The only part that's synthetic is gonna be the part at the heel where you see the Nike branding, but that's backed by a plastic internal heel counter, so that doesn't even matter anyways. But nice, soft touch. If you've never worn a leather shoe before and you want to try one out without breaking the bank, the Nike Premier or Nike Premier 2.0 is probably the shoe that I would recommend, because again, it's just such a good value and the quality far exceeds the price that they're charging for this, in my opinion, of course. Now, what has changed, because obviously the leather is, like I said, very similar. The stitching pattern, as you can see, it's a little bit of a different pattern. It looks kind of more old school on the new Premier 2.0, where it's got the cross stitching, which we never had before, and then this kind of rounded stitch on either side, which reminds me a lot of some of the older Tiempo models, notably the Nike Tiempo Legend 3. But is that going to change all that much in terms of the stretch of the shoe? Because if there was one flaw with the original Nike Premier, in my opinion, is that the leather was not reinforced well enough, so it did have a tendency to stretch quite a bit. So if you didn't get the exact right size from when they were brand new, they did have the potential to overstretch. So I would say that's the same concern that I would have with this new Nike Premier 2.0. So just be aware of that. If you are planning on buying these, make sure you get them so they fit nice and snug out of the box. This is not a shoe you want to buy too big or with a lot of extra growing room, because if you do that, they are going to overstretch over time. If they're just right though out of the box, you're going to have the proper fit once they've stretched out a little bit. So very important thing to note with either the original Nike Premier or the Premier 2.0. So kangaroo leather upper, new stitching pattern. You still maintain a central lacing system, nice, simple, very traditional as you would expect. It's got a good depth to it as well, allowing you to get a good, snug, secure fit through the midfoot, forefoot area, which is obviously very important. And then of course, the key difference that's very easily, I guess, seen if you're comparing this to the original Nike Premier is the big fold over flap tongue, which is very similar to that of the Nike Tiempo Legend 1. The original Tiempo Legend just has a little bit of a different positioning for the Nike swoosh, but it's still made from leather. It still looks really good. Is it the best in terms of overall performance? I personally, if to play in them, I would rather the tongue not be there, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. But it is something that does look cool, and I think the majority of people who would be interested in a shoe like the Nike Premier are probably all for this. It gives it that old school vibe. Is it really that in the way when you're actually playing in them? No, it's added bulk for no reason, but believe it or not, at one point in time, this was viewed as kind of a technological advancement in that it was covering up your laces. So is this necessary? No. Does it look cool? Yes. Is it worth it? That's going to vary from person to person based on your own opinion. So the tongue itself, it is leather. The flat part at least is leather, which is nice. And it does have the Velcro as well, so it will stay down when you're actually wearing the tongue down, which is really nice as well, because a lot of them, they have a flap, but they're not held down properly, but the Velcro should do that pretty effectively for you. And then as far as the rest of the tongue is concerned, that's one element that I don't like in comparison to the original Premier, which I thought was a little bit better. It's a synthetic material like we had from the original, but they removed the memory foam insert running through the middle. So it's pretty much just a plain synthetic now, backed by a synthetic suede, which doesn't feel cheap by any means, but it does feel cheaper in comparison to the original Premier. Is it the downfall of the shoe? No, not at all, but something that I don't care for quite as much, if I'm nitpicking, of course. So, rest of the shoe is pretty much identical to that of the original Premier. It maintains a standard low cut. It has the nice synthetic suede liner on the inside, which is very, very comfortable. Almost no break-in time required, no heel slippage issues either. The insole, fully removable. I'll give you guys a quick look at that. It's the same insole as we got on the original Premier. It's got this kind of cloth-like lining. It has a little bit of roughness to it, which is nice in that it grips your socks, prevents your foot from slipping on the top of the insole. And it's just a standard black foam, nothing too fancy, but it definitely does get the job done. And then the sole plate and stud pattern, as I mentioned at the start of the video, remains pretty much identical. They haven't changed a thing here. It's the same TPU plastic construction, relatively thin, super, super flexible, which is nice. I think that goes really well with the soft kangaroo leather upper they have here. And then of course you get the same firm ground stud pattern, where the studs all conical in shape, fairly standard layout. And admittedly, they're a little bit shorter, so it's not super, super aggressive, but again, it's not really that style of shoe. I find it to be perfectly capable in terms of providing good traction on firm natural grass, so it's not really a concern for me, but if you're looking for something really, really aggressive, this obviously is not gonna provide that. This is more traditional, it's more stable, it's very comfortable to run around in, and that's kind of what this shoe is all based around: comfort at a very affordable price and just general good quality. Again, I'm of the opinion that if you're a boot enthusiast and if you've never tried a kangaroo leather shoe before, you definitely should. And again, if you're one of those people that hasn't tried one and you don't want to break the bank, something like a Nike Premier or Nike Premier 2.0 here is definitely worth a shot, because I really like the experience of wearing a shoe like this. The only other performance thing to talk about here is the weight of the shoe, which in a size 9.5 US, these guys weigh in at 8.6 ounces or so, which is pretty well the same as the original Nike Premier. Not really any lighter, not really any heavier. And as a whole, it's not a heavy shoe at all. A lot of people like to compare the Nike Premier series to that of the Copa Mundial. And if you are comparing the two, the Premiers are a lot lighter, they're a lot thinner, they're a lot less bulky, and it has a much more modern fit and feel in general, but still maintains good quality. Is the quality of the Copa Mundial better? Yeah, I think it is. It's made in Germany. The quality of the leather is fantastic. It's one of the nicest leather shoes you can buy, but it's $150 versus $110 at full retail. Is the drop off in quality that significant? No, they both offer a good experience. And if you're asking me personally which one I would rather play in, as much as I love the Copas, the modern characteristics of the Premier in that they are less bulky, it's a little bit more natural, it's a much more flexible shoe, I would prefer to play in something like this versus a Copa, weight aside. But if you are just kind of concerned about the weight, the Premier is relatively light for a shoe of this style. As far as the styling is concerned, speaking of that, it's pretty much the same as the original Nike Premier. It maintains the same kind of oversized, old school style Nike swoosh. You got the Nike branding there written out on the back of the heel, which I think looks okay. Some people might not like that as much, but that is something that I believe they used to do on the older Tiempo models, if I'm not mistaken. I like the look of the tongue. I'm not crazy about it in terms of how it actually feels, but I think it looks very cool. It adds to the old school vibe. And again, it's kind of a nod to those older Tiempo models. And then Obviously just a pretty straightforward sole plate there, black and white color scheme. So this is likely going to be available for the entire lifespan of the Nike Premier 2.0, like we saw with the original Nike Premier. And then along the way, we'll probably see limited edition colorway releases. Maybe they'll include them with every single pack. I'm not sure how they're going to do it this time around, but expect the black and white variation that you're seeing in this video to be available at all times. Anyways, I'm going to leave a little poll in the corner of the screen. I want you guys to leave a vote. Let me know, do you prefer the original Nike Premier or the Nike Premier 2.0? Which one do you like better? Which one do you think looks better at the very least? Leave your vote in the corner of the screen. That's enough about tech specs though. Let's take a look at how these things fit and feel on feet. So you can see on the right shoe, I actually swapped out the black laces for some wide white reflective SR4U replacement laces, just because I thought the little bit of accent there with the white and black theme actually looks quite good. I know a lot of people will probably be upset about changing black laces on a black shoe like this, but the white laces actually look pretty cool. Anyways, if you are interested in a pair of SR4U replacement laces, the website to go to is www.sr4ulaces.com. There'll be a little pop-up on screen as well as a link down below in the description. So if you're interested in a pair, be sure to go ahead and check that out. So obviously lacing them up pretty straightforward, given that it is a central lacing system with a standard tongue. Tuck that in the side, and then again, you have the Velcro right here and the Velcro on the underside of the tongue. Press it down, and it stays there for the most part. Is it really pressed cleanly against the upper? No, it kind of gaps at the side right here, as you can see, so it does lift. Again, it's more bulk that doesn't necessarily need to be there, but it does provide the look which a lot of people like, and it's not necessarily going to affect your performance negatively, in my opinion. It'll feel a little bit different, but I don't think that you're going to be blaming the tongue on the shoe for a bad performance out there on the field. Anyways, let me just tie this one up really quickly, and we'll take a look at both of them on feet. I'm struggling with this one. Do that, put that down. And here is a look at the Nike Premier 2.0 on feet. They look great. They feel as good as they look. Let me say that. The kangaroo leather is soft, it's flexible, the sole plate has very little stiffness to it, which is nice. It just makes for a very natural sensation. The heel is very comfortable. The liner grips your heel very well too. And there's just not much to complain about here. This is a very comfortable shoe out of the box. One of the most comfortable shoes out of the box that you can buy, I would say. So overall, not much to complain about here, not much to break in. Ready to go from the second you put them on your feet, basically. As far as the width of the shoe is concerned, given that it is kangaroo leather and given the shape out of the box, these have a good amount of width to them. So these are gonna fit just about anybody, even if you do have wider feet. And if they do feel a little bit snug out of the box, again, that's kind of what you want, because the leather is going to stretch and soften up further as you wear them in. So please keep that in mind. As far as sizing is concerned, just like the Tiempo line, they run half a size small. So I know it sounds weird to go up in size in a leather shoe, but that is how the sizing works. So instead of wearing my usual size 9 US here, I bump it up half a size to a 9.5 for the perfect fit. You can see I have no extra space here whatsoever. And again, I would normally wear a size 9 US. So if they do run half a size small, I would recommend going half size up in order to achieve the best possible fit in the length. So that is pretty much it, guys, for my review of the Nike Premier 2.0. I think they're good quality. It's very, very similar to that of the original Nike Premier with some slight tweaks. Is it better? Is it worse? No, it's kind of just a variation of the same thing. That would be my way of summing it all up. Anyways, if you guys are interested in a pair of these for yourself, again, you can click the little eye in the corner of the screen or the first link down below in the description. That'll take you to the review page on my website where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these guys up below their normal $110 retail price. If you have any questions regarding this shoe, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.